looks a meaty piece of willow that Dimuth Karunaratne is wielding. What weight bat did you use, Owen?
Around about 210. That's the weight of the bat I used.
Did it vary according to format and maybe conditions or not?
Early in my career, yes. Tended to save my best bat for white ball cricket, which many questioned at times. I always believed the best bat to try and clear the ropes, the rest just to time it.
But it wouldn't change according to subcontinent, for example. You hear some tales of cricketers trying to shape their bats differently so they get a lower middle for subcontinent where there's lower bounce than. Given, pull rifle, a nod of the head, a raise of the finger. It looks tight on line to me, and Dimuth Karunaratne will have a chat with his partner at the other end, and indeed will send it upstairs.
Director TV umpire with a player review for LBW. Original decision is out. Both feet are fair. Let's go to front time when ready. Looks like it's Mr. Beck. We just have Ultries just to confirm, please. Keep going, keep going. No bat involved. Just ball tracking when ready, please. Pull, pitching in line, impacts outside. I'm going to get you back on screen and recommend you change your decision to not out.
Yeah, I felt that was the case. Yeah, Paul Rifle just has taken a look at the big screen and slightly admonishing himself there, because that it didn't feel right at first glance. Felt it was marginal, tight on line and height, as indeed the replays suggest it was. Not a good decision.
Yeah, smart review. Questionable to start, but you were the first to call it, actually. I thought it was a bit tighter than that, but that's the reason the technology TRS system is in place.
Batter should have a pretty good idea, really. You know where the ball has hit you, so he'd have a sense that that was perhaps high. And batters are so good at picking up the line and length of a ball that he would have had a good idea that that was very marginal on the where it hit him as well. Because that's what you're trained to do. The moment the ball leaves the bowler's hand, you are trained to pick up the line and length instinctively so you can make your decision. You don't have much time to make that decision, maybe half a second or something. Nine for none. I guess you'd understand that first one, Owen, wouldn't you? First test match at Lord's, adrenaline and excitement, and you come thundering in. England have made a mistake there and gifted a boundary. You'd understand the first one being a bit quicker, but when the speeds drop after that, slightly more concerning.
Yeah, telling. Just slipping out of Matthew Potts' hands. Can't believe what he's seen in the crowd. Yeah, telling. Big indications like that, you need to stand up and listen. Talking about looking after young players. He's probably not that young. He's 26, I think, now at the moment. First year in international cricket, like we talked about earlier. Take a significant amount out of you. Next test match is at the Oval in a handful of days. Very little rest and recuperation in between this and then. I know he'll be keen to play at his home ground.
$14 for none. Excellent from Wokes. He's such a clever bowler. He's got a stock ball that will swing back to the left-hander, but this one that he pushes across, well, very deliberately. You'll see the seam scrambling down. Really excellent bowler. Gone a bit darker. You can see as Wokes is coming back, walking back, you can see the shadows almost across 4 lines, and that's a good indication that the light has dimmed a little. So I feel like the conditions are reasonable actually for Wokes and the seam attack here. $15 for none.
Nicely timed, and there's another point of difference between these two teams. I can cast my mind back to when England started, looking at minute differences. Just beware of where that weight's falling in the slips cord. Is it going through your heels? Have you got it slightly forward on the balls of your toes?
And also the subtle difference here at Lord's is when they're in the slip cord and here, the left-hander, they'll be probably a yard closer, because theoretically the ball, when it gets edged, is going up the slope. So you need to be closer for it to carry, whereas when you edge it down the slope, it carries much further. So that's a bit of a home team advantage there, which I might have just given away.
I was going to say, not anymore.
19 for none.
This is his 93rd Test appearance. All that experience he's going to draw on here in the last session of day 3.
With 93 tests experience, that's when you lean on these sort of players in your team. Need them to lead you through little difficult periods in a test match. The lean series, apparently so far. this innings is time.
Little hesitation, and just enough to get through. Legs had to get pumping, that's for sure.
I think this was close. Judging by the England reaction, Ollie Stone quick onto it. And the cover break, there's a bit of hesitation. The underarm flick. I've got no idea. Would have to go upstairs.
Just checks his shot. I was listening to Aaron Morgan talking about bats and shapes and weights. And I know every team probably has more than one these days, but that bat badger who just knows everything about their bat. You see that, see sometimes they put extra grips and put a little circle around the top. Sometimes it's shaved into the bat handle. It's through the field, but it's going up the slope here, so it'll take a little bit of heat out of it. And the immediate reaction there from the England players around the bat is that they like it. Gets up and over, puts good revs on the ball, gets some purchase. Nicely worked.
Yeah, just to go back to the tactics of Sri Lanka, it's quite a good play to try and score some runs in this little period, because England only have the off-spinning option. The light as it is, try and get these runs on the ball, put a partnership together, put the spinners under pressure. Still a day 3 pitch, it shouldn't put you under too much strain.
Good bash, yes boy.
And of course, Sri Lankans have grown up on flat, low pitches, faced so much spin in their careers, in the nets, through school cricket, pathways, into first-class cricket.
Nice bash, yes bash.
Working away at that 50, 52 miles per hour at the moment is Bashir.
Very nice bash.
The pace has been reasonably consistent. He's just trying to work on flight here a little bit.
Chip back to you, boy.
Mixed deliveries up quite well throughout those 6 deliveries, 34 for 1.
So far in the test to bat. The extra bit of pace from Ollie Stone. This is really going to test the conditions. It's very good in the first innings. Just 2 overs to get into his work. 2 wickets in his second over. Hit the wicket hard, a little bit of swing, but look good, look fit.
Where do you stand on light? Oh, Morgan, we often have this conversation when the lights are on and a red ball, trying to make sure that Test cricket continues to thrive and survive, to walk off in light with lights on. Where do you stand with it? There's obviously a danger to umpires and players, but also you're trying to sell the game.
Yeah, I think there's a balance in the decision, isn't it?
Day of milestones for Joe Root. Broken pretty much every record with the bat. Now he's the first Englishman to 200 Test match catches. Where does that rank as far as all teams go? Dravid, Jaya Wardner, quite a few of those off Murali. Jacques Kallis, what a slip, what a cricketer he was. And then Joe Root, 200, equals Kallis.
Yes, Rooty.
And past Sir Alistair Cook today with yet another 100, going to 34 Test match hundreds. Went past quite a few on hundreds on this ground. Offered up the single, and they're going to take the single. Now they'll all come in. There's that arm ball. He loves bowling that arm ball. Just flicks it off that index finger, and he often gets a bit of swing with it. Now a bit of turn. Goes away for a boundary.
Harry Brook, it is a first slip for Joe Root. Feels that slip himself for the spinners. Touch fuller, extra bit of turn. Harry Brook probably should have stopped that.
Now slip and a gully, or 2 slips.
Nice, Joe.
.49 for 2.
Sri Lanka well behind the game. In theory, require 430 to win. But in reality, England require 8 wickets to go 2-0 up in this series. Clipped away nicely down the slope. Start the day with a couple. Morning, Nas.
Yeah, morning Owen, morning everyone. It's a lovely day to be at Lord's. It's warm, all the clouds and the cool wind from yesterday blown through. It's perfect conditions. May swing, it's a little bit humid out there. This ball is 20 overs old. That's half the reason England went off last night. They could have continued bowling their spinners, but they were considering the condition of this ball. Get a good shine on it, it may swing.
Oh, close. Only question is height. No was the answer from Paul Rifle. Remember, think about this, England. Congregating around the wicketkeeper. Yeah, Ollie Pope sends it upstairs. Let's have a look.
Director third umpire, we have a play review for LBW. Ritual decision is not out. Both feet are fair, let's go to front, I'm ready. Can we go to Ultra, just confirm no bat? Thank you. Appears to be no bat. Running through. Flat line. Ball tracking when available, please. Here we go, Paul. Pitching outside leg. We'll get you back on screen. You can stay with your original decision of not out. You're on screen.
Yeah, good decision on field from Paul Rifle. What height was the question? In fact, ball tracking not even required.
Yeah, length as well. Bowling to left-handers, as you'll know, Owen. If it's short, generally, where Woakes bowls from, could well be pitching outside. It was just pitching outside. Needs it to be fuller than that to get the LBW in play.
There is that length and ass, just a touch fuller. He probes away on it, did do in the first innings.
And that's the problem here at Lord's. The first one nips back down the slope, so you're expecting the next one to do the same. Woakes just holds it and holds the line. Goes across.
Just a touch lower, the bounce on this occasion. That's the length Woakes will try and operate on. Through his variations, can swing the ball predominantly, will look. Ball wobble seam. Working it across Karunaratne and back in then on the variation. Top ball to end the first over on day 4. Sri Lanka 55 for 2.
As you can see, Lord's not even half full. Ticket sales for today have been poor. There are obviously lots of tickets available. Yes, people may have thought that first test here against the West Indies didn't even get past lunch. I think it got 1 hour into day 3, so it didn't even get to the weekend. That was a Wednesday start. So maybe people thought, well, am I going to see any cricket on Sunday? Well, they are, and there's tickets available.
Quite noticeable late yesterday evening, the decision that Ollie Pope, the decision that he took to go off the field wasn't just his. He was speaking to his other senior players, notably Duckett, Root, Jamie Smith behind the stumps, just taking on opinion, soundboarding ideas in order to come to his own decision. Wouldn't have been an easy one early on in his captaincy. Certainly thing that I found early on in my captaincy tenure was finding your own gut feeling, getting to that stage.
Would you have had anything from those two up above? Some messages sent down? Bowl your spinner, bowl your seamer, get off, stay on?
Yeah, I'd imagine knowing those two characters, they just would have empowered him to back his own gut call. Good length again from Wokes. Don't really get the impression from Stokes and McCullum they would enforce a decision or impart one, make it a definitive one. That's a feature of this team, empowering players to take on more responsibility, to grow within the group, create that culture, make a decision work, even if it's a good one or a bad one or even a half-hearted one. Try and gain clarity in that decision and then commit fully to it. .55 for 2. Edged and down. Rude, I think it is, a first slip, yeah. Spilled one in the deep already in this game. Got 2 good catches yesterday, but this one has gone down.
Yeah, high and to his left. 200 test match catches for England yesterday. He went to that, he said on interview, I should have had a few more. That went quickly. That's a very hard chance. Slashed at it. Would have only caught it one-handed, couldn't get 2 hands to it.
Yeah, very difficult chance for Joe Root.
What on?
60 for 2. Atkinson to continue from the pavilion end. It's a good paced pitch, Nas.
Yeah, it's been a good pitch. Seamers have enjoyed it. Batters definitely. Joe Root has loved it. And there will be a bit of spin. That'll be interesting to see how Ollie Pope backs and bowls Bashir. One thing that Stokes has done brilliantly in his captaincy is how he's treated Leach and Bashir and Hartley, and his captaincy of spin has been as good as it gets. That'll be the challenge for Bashir and Pope today.
Yeah, that's actually part of the reason that surprised me that they went off last night. Shoaib Bashir hasn't bowled a great deal across this summer. Yes, last week he did, but the only way that he gets better in international cricket is by bowling. The only way Ollie Pope gets better in captaining him is by watching him bowl, working together, building that relationship, trusting, going from plan to plan, tactically utilising what's on offer. As you say, there was a lot of spin last night. didn't carry, I don't think, Dan Lawrence.
Yeah, he did the right thing. He stayed down, and it was off the face of the bat, but it was just a foot in front of him. Dan Lawrence good, staying down, hands down. It was in front of him. Quite deep there. He's almost there for that push off the back foot.
Not quite up. Was there an edge? England think so. Joel Wilson doesn't. All of them nodding. And Ollie Pope sends it upstairs.
Direct to third umpire, we have a player review for court behind. Original decision is not out. Both feet are fair. Let's go to front time and available. Okay, I need Ultras just to confirm if there's any contact.
Yeah, I think so.
No problem.
I'm surprised you didn't give it out, really.
Just waiting for Ultras there, Joel. Thank you. Just go through again. It's got a flat line, keep running it through. Just keep it going, keep it going. And run it right back out again. So let's go to the bat. Yeah, there's nothing conclusive there. I'll go back to Joel on field. Joel, you can stay with your original decision of not out.
Well, a touch confused is Gus Atkinson and the England team. He certainly heard a noise, as did we. A stump mic, I think it was, but not quite sure what that noise was, Nas.
No, Dan Lawrence in particular. Dan Lawrence at short leg was the first one, and he probably shouldn't have done it, because you have to go to your captain and your keeper, but Dan Lawrence was review it and he can't believe it. He's the closest to Karunaratne and he heard something. But Ultra Edge, nothing. Listen.
Yeah, clear noise. Straight away. As you can hear as well, yet again. Something. Certainly something. Inconclusive. Decision stays on the field. 60 for 2.
There is some movement, just a little bit, and Harry Brook is working hard on that cricket ball to get that shine up. Not the perfect day to bat at Lord's. We have one. Can they make the most of it, Kumar? Good morning.
Good morning, Ian Ward. Yeah, it's been a, well, not too bad a start when you have your night or light watchman spending a bit of time in the middle. Oh, Karunaratne wandering down aimlessly, very casually. That would have been interesting if that hit.
Ollie Stone is the fielder, as he was yesterday, and he nearly enacted a run out with an underarm throw. This was more from the side. Gone. Direct hit, gone.
That was extraordinary. He just wandered casually down the track. No call, I think, from Angelo. That nearly cost a wicket.
Oh, edge and short. Don't think even a big lunge from second slip would have been able to have taken that. It certainly wasn't going to carry to Joe Root. Brook has already taken a blinder. This would have been spectacular. Could he have gone? Nah.
We talked about how Harry Brook is working on the ball. It's such an important part of playing in England, knowing how to shine a ball. When we were playing, we had two people to shine the ball, Tilan Samravira and TM Dilshan. They were officially named as you guys work on the ball. And every time they worked on it, and we're trying to get some reverse going, and shining the ball, making sure there's no sweat on the shiny side. Murley comes into ball and he just rubs both sides of the ball in his hand and absolutely takes us back to square one.
Probably says, I'm the one to win this game, I can do what I want.
Exactly.
It's a probing line and length from Wokes.
No saliva allowed on the ball. So shirt sleeves, sweat. Trying to get an edge, but this is what Sri Lanka couldn't afford. Is a run out.
Look at Angelo in the background. What are you doing? Where were you going? Oh. 61 for 3. Lovely shot through extra cover. Atkinson with a tempter outside off stump. Karunaratne has dealt with that.
Very good from Karunaratne. Don't want to get caught in too negative a mindset of just trying to survive, because, as Stuart Broad said, in the build-up, it's going to be 8 deliveries that will get you out in terms of what it does off the pitch or in the air. So when you have an opportunity to score, you pounce on it. Very decisive, very good, a little bit in the air, but that's all right, it's in the gap.
And now pulled away firmly through straight mid-wicket. Picked the length so quickly. That's emphatic.
Yeah, this is one of his strengths, Karunaratne. Square on the wicket. The way he plays is a little bit like Graham Smith. A lot on that leg side, off his hips, off his legs, on the short ball. Got out in Manchester doing it. There was a review early on of a pull, but this one right off the middle. Really well picked up in terms of bounce and length, and hit really well.
Ollie Pope has decided to change the field, possibly as a result of that pull shot. Dan Lawrence comes out of short leg and goes into sort of a finish gully, and Pope himself is going out in front of the grandstand. At the moment he's about 10 metres off the boundary. Edged away and into the gap. Lawrence had been placed there, he was just a little too wide.
Yeah, very fortunate, and again, the decision making of a batter is so important, and that's why bowling in a channel, getting them all to seam and swing, brings in false shots there. Karunaratne decision is, do you go horizontal with the bat face or vertical? He went half and half, and the ball carried, but luckily into a gap, perhaps just a bit short.
.75 for 3. Right, Matthew Potts from the nursery end.
Talking about sunglasses, Russell Arnold was wearing a pair of sunglasses, and he was bowling with them on, I think in South Africa, and he dropped a return catch, and all I could hear was Sana Jayasuriya yelling, "Take those bloody glasses off, you'll catch one." And Russell sheepishly just taking them off and putting them in his pocket.
Russell Arnold used to take catches in his shirt, didn't he?
Yes, he did. That's one thing with Russell. There wasn't much to him. He kept wearing these oversized baggy clothes.
A firm pull, but Bashir does exceptionally well. Had to get the dive out to save the boundary, and he did. Just fencing outside that off stump. And the blade is slightly open as well as Potts pushes that one across him.
And this has been an issue for Karunaratne because that seam and swing has a real nothing shot. What is the purpose? Yes, there is a gap at point, 2/3 man, but wicket. And in a situation like this, on a pitch like this, that is not something you do. Be decisive in leaving the ball. That'll bring the bowler bowling to you so you can score.
Ambitious, and the ball has stayed down a bit. 77 for 3. Karunaratne is on 43, was dropped earlier today. Now wicket keepers obviously catch all the time and they're working on their technique all the time. Joe Root has 200 test match catches. Majority of these will be in the slip. But if you look at his footwork, Kumar, if you were a wicket keeper here, we'll show it from behind. If you look how Root's feet sort of go to the right as the ball ends up towards his left. If you're a keeper, are you not taking a step to your left?
Well, it's a difficult one, Wardy, because there are sometimes wicket keepers and fielders who prefer their weight on one side.
Looking around to see who has left the field for England. Can't tell you that in a minute, but I can tell you that Josh Hull is on, and he's fielding at mid-on. I watched him bowl the other morning and catch. Brendan McCullum was nicking. Touch of the Cameron Greens about him because his wingspan is enormous. He was plucking deliveries and catches from either side.
It's a great advantage for a fast bowler to be in the slips. Sure, Cullis was there. Sean Pollock at some point in his career was in the slips as well. I used to be surprised to see Joel Garner at gully when he was playing for West Indies at times. Caught well, but gets so much more rest being in the slips if you're a good catcher.
Jimmy was very good in the slips for a while and then, for whatever reason, migrated away from catching there. Tended to field at mid-on or mid-off just to keep the communications open between whoever was bowling at the time. Chris Wokes is the fielder that's off. To the England Test squad and white ball squad as well. Josh Hull in a meteoric rise to the England team. Not picking on his numbers, certainly for Leicestershire. Picking on ceiling, how high I think he can go with his talents and his height.
Yeah, I mentioned before I saw him in a 100 game, I think in Birmingham. And I saw him bowl, and I think it was Daggers next to me. And I asked him, who's this bowler? Because he looked really interesting. He looked big, he had good bounce, good pace, swung the ball as well. And I was thinking, well, that's interesting. And I asked actually, is England looking at him? Because he seems to be the type of bowler that England might have a look at. They have been tracking him, both very well in the warm-up game against Sri Lanka as well.
A good run. Yeah, he bowled well in that warm-up game.
I think England can actually bring that short square leg even further up, almost to catching, and ask Karunaratne to really try and hit the ball hard on that leg side. He's been looking for it, not really waiting for it, but he's been actively trying to look for anything short to pull. And with the slope helping the ball perhaps feed the slips from around the wicket from the pavilion end, you've got to get Karunaratne thinking more about the leg side. Keep the ball in the channel, once in a while attacking the stumps. But now perhaps it's time for some short bowling.
So Joe Root has popped down to a very fine third man. Harry Brook down at fine leg. Bashir is going to go up the hill in front of the grandstand. Duckett is at a deep, very deep, excuse me, leg gully. Got a gully and a deep backward point.
Yeah, that's good. One for the over called. You get two of those. And as a batter, the moment the bowler starts this, first things first, you've got to still watch the ball that's pitched up. That's still going to be the danger. Number two, you've got to have some courage to say, okay, if I do misjudge it on ducking, I'll have to wear a couple. Number three, you've got to be still looking to play the ball. That gets you into the best positions to duck and weave and leave. But keep your weight forward. Watch the ball that's pitched up. Defend your stumps. Then be able to get under it if it's high.
That was sort of a nothing shot. Just hung the bat out there.
Yeah, one of the things I used to do when I knew the bowler was going to bowl bumpers was just that. Keep your head forward, watch the ball pitched up, and then get into your best position. But if I'm looking to hit it, I'm going to be positive. That was quite indecisive from Karunaratne, but that's perhaps because the plan is still new and is still adjusting.
Ui. Nipped down the hill and bounced. 82 for 3.
And if you're a bowler and the fielding captain looking at this, it just encourages you more and more to keep at this batter.
Leg gully.
I think it is a good field, and they will attack the stumps as much as possible. And with the slope, the leg slip, and the short square leg catching all come into play.
Just a dead bat, thick outside edge, and 4.
A lot better from Karunaratne here. not really pushing at the ball as he has done quite a few times in this innings. Attacking the stump, the shine on the outside, the seam, straightening the ball up, but a very good bat position right under his eyes, straight into the ground. In England, you can't score runs without edging a few.
A good single, quick single, takes Karunaratne through to a small personal milestone. It's 50 not out from 98 balls.
It's been hard work, it's ridden his luck a little bit, but that's so valuable to Sri Lanka in the context of the game, in the context of this series, personally for him to know that he can still score runs here in England. He had to absorb a lot of pressure, but a lot more work to do for Karunaratne.
It's a sliding down leg. So it was Oasis yesterday, Stuart Broad, and sunglasses today. You can understand Sri Lanka's want to ensure that they don't just sort of get themselves into a bit of a lull about batting. They've got to be proactive, yes. Got to try and reapply some pressure on England, yes. But you've got to be smart when you do it as well. And Angelo Matthews, who hasn't bowled in this series, mostly because his body won't take the toil. Short, sharp run like that, dangerous.
Nice Bashi.
The other one too for that is bowlers at the stumps, strong hands. Ball misses the stumps. Can you tidy up? I like that. And this is where Shoaib Bashir has been showing his skill set right throughout the summer. It's the build-up of deliveries, his consistency in getting balls into areas that he likes, and he's just got that nice little bit of drift at the moment above the eye line. Yeah, and the counter punch there as well. A bit of foot movement down the wicket. 98 for 3. And with that timeline bottom of your screen at the moment, and I like that as well. Turn and bounce. Wonderful combination here for Bashir.
Certainly enough to work with, isn't there? His preference will be bowling to the left-hander, because I feel like he can fire it in at middle stump. If it doesn't turn, can get the LBW. If it does, brings the edge into play.
Oh, yes, Bashi.
Just there.
Very nice, Bash.
Just there. He misses that. That is hitting the stumps. But then if it begins to grip, it can catch off stump potentially, or a little edge through to Joe Root at first slip.
Yes, Bash. Nice boy.
40 overs already into this ball.
Do you think Shoaib Bashir this early in his career is being brave enough to come up to the captain going, no, I want the pavilion end?
Yeah, might need a few more test matches to do that. Yeah, they might be thinking the footholds are a bit more from the spinner from that end, from round the wicket, could get some grit. Ultimately, you need to decide on a day like this, who is your most threatening bowler? Is it the spin? Is it the seam? And they should get priority on whichever end suits. I think as the day goes on, we're going to see more and more catches in front of the pitch. Harder to bring the slips into play with the lack of bounce, and the older the ball gets, but you can bowl little cutters that can get chipped to extra cover. We might see the use of a leg slip to try and manoeuvre the position of the batter on the crease. All these positions that someone like Ben Stokes is very creative with and will want Ollie Pope to be similar.
Yeah, even that shot there says that you've got time on this pitch, haven't you, to play forward or back, and even if you slightly get that wrong, Karunaratne then still had ample time to push back, play the ball late.
Looking a relaxed management group up there, aren't they? Feet up on the balcony. Not too stressed about the situation of the game. Ultimately for them, they've got 2 days to try and win it.
What I do notice when you look through the Sri Lankan batting lineup is so many of them, when they get big scores, they go not just hundreds, they go doubles, they can go triples, they can bat for long periods of time. There's an art to it, and a lot of them have it. Just a single from that over, 101 for 3 as we pass on down to Nas.
It's a bit of an issue for the England side at the moment. None of their seamers particularly enjoy bowling round the wicket, which doesn't create any footholds for Shoaib Bashir to work with outside the off stump. Maybe that's why Bashir's bowling in the pavilion end right now, because Potts is the only one who's bowled round the wicket from the nursery. So we might have something to work with as the game goes. But I think it was Trent Bridge where he got 5 for to bowl the West Indies out. Day 3, there was barely any footholds outside the off stump for him to work with. So yeah, he will want bowlers, right arm seamers, to be round the wicket just to give him something to work with outside the off stump.
Oh. 102 for 3. Back into the attack, and pretty tight to start with. 103 for 3.
Bit more flight on this occasion from Bashir, and his half stop keeps that down to a single.
For Joel Wilson to say not out.
Full rifle, absolutely right. To see that inside edge. England have already burnt a couple of reviews. Remember, they 2 reviews in the opening 6 overs this morning, so they're down to 1 left. Sri Lanka still have 3. They did have a leg slip the previous over that Ollie Stone was bowling to Dimuth Karunaratne. Stuart Broad on commentary was saying that, thought that was a good position to have, but they've taken it out now. $111 for 3. It's a good line. If it doesn't spin, then he's threatening the pad. The LBW, if it does turn from there, then the outside edge and slipper in play. Sharp in the outfield, Matthew Potts is out at deep cover that side towards the mound stand side. He's actually on the boundary the other side in the previous over as well, so he's covering some yardage out there.
Bash.
$114 for 3. Now, is there an edge down the leg side? A little glove, there is. And Karunaratne, who's played really well for 55, can't get his hands out of the way of quite a fast ball from Ollie Stone that seemed to kick off the surface and really bounce and surprise Karunaratne.
Well, the plan has worked. Quickest ball this over, 87 miles an hour. More importantly, it is a very accurate, straight line, almost armpit length, nasty delivery. Can't get his hands out of the way, and Jamie Smith takes a simple catch. That is a big breakthrough for England. Dimuth Karunaratne plays well for 55. Sri Lanka 115 for 4.